CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre is finally happening later this week, so let's look at times when Drew McIntyre violated CM Punk during this feud. The first violation happened right before the Royal Rumble in January. It was the very first promo between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, and the segment was great. But the best part was when McIntyre started talking about how Punk thought he was a locker room leader back in 2012, and this is what Drew said.
You used to refer to yourself as the leader. You would actually walk in the locker room and say, as the locker room leader, because the leader has to announce he's the bloody leader.
Even CM Punk struggled to make it through that comment without laughing, as he realized it was cringy to call himself the locker room leader. A true locker room leader does not need to announce that. This was a great roast, especially when you consider the fact that it legitimately happened. For more context, here is what Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho said about the same incident in a podcast back in 2018.
No one ever says, I'm the leader. The first person who says that, especially there's a thing in wrestling, the locker room leader. Whenever somebody says, I'm a locker room leader, you definitely know that guy is not the locker room leader. That 100%.
Cody, do you remember this weird, Cody, we had this weird locker room meeting in WWE once where CM Punk said that? Do you remember that?
So I tried
that?
I tried not to name names.
I'll say it because it's my cruise.
But
do you remember they said
multiple times
as the locker room leader? I'm like, you don't lead me.
And it worked on a certain demo of the locker room. But there was one meeting where Booker T was in the room and Punk hit the as the locker room leader, I'm telling you guys all to pick up your trash, and Booker literally threw his trash on the floor and said, he's not telling me to pick up my trash, and they had this whole interaction.
Although he once tried to force this locker room leader gimmick, it's fair to say that he's finally become a true locker room leader by leading by example, especially after helping out with the NXT brand and all those guys down there. With all that being said, this was still a very good shot from Drew McIntyre to kickstart this rivalry. The next violation from Drew McIntyre happened at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. It looked like CM Punk was going to finally get what he always wanted, and that is a Wrestlemania main event. Regardless of winning the Rumble or not, he was going to headline with Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. However, all of that would change because of the Scottish Psychopath. In the middle of the match, McIntyre hit his future shock DDT on Punk, and that would actually injure the Punker. He tore his tricep and was forced to miss out on his big moment, and this has to be included in the video because this quite literally ruined CM Punk's return. To make matters worse, Drew McIntyre took that Royal Rumble injury violation to another level because on the Raw after the pay-per-view, he interrupted CM Punk's goodbye promo, and instead of apologizing, this is what he said about the injury.
I prayed for this and it happened.
You see, those 7 words turned Drew McIntyre into one of WWE's biggest villains. Only a man who's sick in the head can come up with a quote like that. There's no need to drop a line like that, especially after ruining a man's career. To be fair, that line is the reason we got into this intense feud, so maybe it's a good thing it happened. Again, Drew McIntyre took things to an even more extreme level because after injuring CM Punk and then telling him that he prayed for this injury to happen, he continued to do some more damage to the torn tricep. He added some salt to the wound with this kick. You would think that it couldn't get any worse than this, but it does. Drew McIntyre clearly became obsessed with taking shots at CM Punk. This video of him at the gym is a perfect example. Let's roll the footage.
Had to tear up those triceps.
You see, after CM Punk left WWE to have surgery and enter rehab for his tricep, this was Drew McIntyre at the gym. He was doing a tricep exercise. He said it was time to tear his tricep. He even winked at the camera. And all this was happening while he was playing Dreams and Nightmare by Meek Mill, with the lyric popping up saying that he used to pray for times like this. This is top tier trolling by Drew. Here's another gym video of Drew trolling CM Punk.
I'm sure he lifted more weights before the injury than me. I'll see you in Chicago, Phil.
After seeing some videos surfacing around the internet of CM Punk doing some light lifting during his rehab, Drew McIntyre decided to record a video where he's benching 400 or more pounds, I don't know, something like that, to prove that CM Punk's nowhere near his level when it comes to strength. I find it hilarious that Punk just posted a video, to show how proud he is of the progress he made, and then Drew McIntyre just came in and completely diminished his moment. Drew McIntyre clearly did not want to see that man happy at all. After learning about CM Punk's injury that forced him to miss his WrestleMania main event with Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre wanted to troll some more, so he made this shirt of the famous meme saying RIP to CM Punk's dream, which was the WrestleMania main event. It was a genius shirt to rub it in Punk's face while also making some extra money for WWE as well as himself. Not only does Drew violate Punk, but he also thinks about how he can make money in the process, which I say you gotta respect that grind. The next violation is one of my personal favorites. Drew McIntyre went on to win the Elimination Chamber match to earn himself the World Championship match at WrestleMania with Seth Rollins, and so he went on Raw to tell a story about how he suffered an injury in the Chamber match and how the doctor was telling him that there might be a chance that he misses WrestleMania, but this was Drew McIntyre's hilarious response.
And I looked at him and said, "Who do you think I am, CM Punk? Nothing's gonna stop me making Mania."
Injuring CM Punk was bad enough, but stealing his WrestleMania match was even worse. You see, if any other person won and took that spot, it would not have mattered, but the fact that it was Drew McIntyre made it a big deal. It was the one guy who injured Punk to begin with, and he started trolling CM Punk too by coming out with this shirt saying that he's the WrestleMania savior. The checklist on the back is crazy too. It has injuring CM Punk as the first step of his plan to becoming immortal. Now it's making a lot of sense as to why CM Punk was this happy when he heard Damian Priest's music for his Money in the Bank cash-in at WrestleMania. On the Pat McAfee show, Drew McIntyre took another shot at CM Punk, and this time he disrespected his family. This is what he said about how he could take his girl, aka AJ Lee.
Dressing at the average troll. I'll tear you apart on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Then I'll step from behind the keyboard. I'll tear you apart physically. And if I wasn't married, I'd take your girl too. That's the kind of troll I am.
You see, you take things too far when you bring up another man's wife. Saying that he would steal AJ away from him like he did with his WrestleMania match is just uncalled for. Drew McIntyre has no problem when it comes to violating CM Punk. This comment that he made on Raw during a segment is more proof of that. Let's roll that footage.
You never drink, you never do drugs, yet you spend all your time in rehab.
I think that might be one of the greatest insults in WWE history. It's equally as good as the one time that Drew McIntyre got a WWE production assistant to change the Clash at the Castle billboard from the pay-per-view logo to a picture of CM Punk crying. Like I said many times in this video, Drew is one evil man. Another evil thing Drew did to CM Punk was completely destroying him in his hometown of Chicago. The visual of Drew McIntyre walking around with a bloody and bruised CM Punk was a sight to behold. An assault like that was definitely a form of violation, but what he did after that might be even worse. You see, after the Chicago beatdown, Drew McIntyre revealed that he stole something from CM Punk. What'd he steal? It was something that meant everything to Punk. It was a bracelet a fan made with AJ Lee's name as well as his dog's name, Larry, and Drew took it and then said this about his dog.
I also took this. This bears the name of your wife and your stupid looking dog, Larry.
I don't know why Drew had to bring Larry into this. The little guy was just chilling and he caught a stray for no reason. And the craziest thing that Drew McIntyre did was post this picture with Jack Perry with the caption that reads, "It's a real photo, go cry us a river." This is the same Jack Perry that started a backstage fight with CM Punk that caused him to actually get fired from AEW. Drew McIntyre took things to the next level with this one. After all this violating, I'm sure CM Punk is very glad and excited to get his hands on Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. Anyways, that is it for the video, guys. Here's some other ones I think you might enjoy, and I'll see you all in the next video.